But anyway, just talking about cryptocurrencies, I was reading something else the other day that, so like in the US, apparently Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is classified as under the same kind of law as property.
Wow, that's
Right.
interesting.
So there's this thing that in the US that if there's property that's been that hasn't been used or something for a certain period of time, that it becomes part of the state, right?
Wow.
So now they're saying the same thing is potentially going to happen to people's like Bitcoin wallets and all that. So like for instance, if you haven't transacted with it for a period of time and it's dormant, so it's like if you were to you take some money, you put it in there, you think, okay, I'm just going to leave it, I'm going to forget about it, and one day, hopefully one day when Bitcoin's like 3 times more, 10 times more than it is now, you'll have this investment. Well, it turns out that you might go back to your wallet and all your money's gone. Right.
But how's that possible, right? Does US, like for example, like if you have a property, right?
Yeah.
And the property's paid off and there are no debts on that property,
Yeah.
right? Can the state actually confiscate
No,
that
no.
property?
Look, I mean, there's activity on it though. So like, so I don't know if I've got the detail here, but there was some. It says this is okay. Here's how unclaimed property law usually works. Every 4 businesses are required to remit any unclaimed property to the state, right? So like for instance, let's say someone died, right, as part of an estate.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere along the line, no one, let's say it was left to the kids and the kids are like in another country and they don't do anything with it.
Yeah,
right. So in other words, it's, I don't know. Then they
Okay,
then
no,
they
that,
can
that,
repossess
that
it.
makes sense. But then,
Yeah.
it's like that's a case where basically, like the property in that estate, they repossessing it not. I think like I just imagine how it would work. They would repossess it not because it's like nobody's doing anything with it. They're repossessing it because it's racking up bills, right?
Maybe
And it's reaching a point where it's like, okay, we need to recover the money on the municipal services,
Yeah,
this
fair
and
enough.
this and this,
Yeah.
and then we need to actually basically put this on the auction, sell it, recover the money, and then, yeah.
No, I'm
so
sure.
like if the property is paid off, right, and the property is maintained in the sense that like all the bills for the property is being paid, right? Like I don't think they're gonna touch it. They could touch it, right?
Yeah,
because
sure.
This is a bit dodgy though. I mean, what if you got a bank account that has got $1 million in it and you're just leaving it there for a rainy day?
Here it says. That means that also, like from a banking point of view, if there's an account holder who hasn't accessed their account or responded to any communications, that they also
there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it responded to communications, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did they
So
do that?
I would
with
imagine
crypto?
that they would like, oh, okay, the chances are that the person's dead and that it hasn't been claimed. Whoever was the inheritor or whatever.
What about share certificates?
I don't know.
Same thing. Buy something and you just like, right, I own 1,000 shares in this company. Here's my certificate. I'm not going to do anything with this for 50 years.
Yeah. No, exactly. So anyway, I mean, that's the thing is
dodgy,
that they're
though,
starting
like,
to.
That's really dodgy, though, because it's like, I understand there's certain circumstances where that's required, right? So when like the estate is not being claimed and it's just racking up the bills, right? So that's required because otherwise you're just gonna have a bunch of dilapidated properties all over the city, you know, that's costing the city, So that's required. With a bank account, I don't see the rationale since there's like if there's money in bank account and the bank account is paid up, right? So it's like the amount of money it takes to services is enough in the bank account. So like I don't see the rationale. Like how could somebody just take your stuff?
Well, look, in this country,
yeah,
if you don't have a will and you pass away,
yeah,
the money, your assets get turned over to the state.
But if you have a will,
Yeah, if you have a will, like if I say, okay, I'm leaving everything to my kids, great. But if I die and I haven't got a will,
yeah,
right, it's the law says that it goes to the state.
Wow.
Yeah. Check that out.
No, but that's
Oleg's making
understandable.
a mental
But
note to go and write a will.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Where's
And
that piece of paper?
How does it work in the UK, Lester?
Can I have you guys witness, please?
Lester, how does it work in the UK?
I don't know.
Does your stuff go
It
to the
goes
Queen?
into I forget, I don't know the terminology.
and
But
country?
if somebody dies and there's no will, the state well, I say the state, the value of the estate, and whatever that includes, goes into like a limbo status, and then there's a period of time where people can make claims to claim against that estate, and it's like that for a period of time, and then it goes into the actual government coffers.
You probably find the same thing happens in South Africa. I just paraphrased it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's companies out. There's even a TV series on it where these because it's advertised on a weekly basis by the state to say these are the estates that we have no claims against. Here's the values. So companies are now they grab the big expensive ones and they go, right, we'll find a relative related to this.
I've seen that. That's
and for a percentage of the estate value, they will go and hunt down these people.
Yeah.
It's a business.
It takes me to the Storage Wars reality TV show kind of thing. With some, they've got unclaimed storage units. Yeah. And then they auction them off.
But you don't know what's inside.
You don't know what's inside.
Man.
And then the guy will open the thing and the guy will say, okay, people will be looking and say, okay, I'll give you $2,000 or whatever. And then either they've got junk or they find a. So the one series that I was watching, the guy bought this thing. It looks like it was old kids' toys and that kind of stuff, and I don't know, a couple of $100 for the contents because it looked like absolute shit in there. And while he was going through there, he found a box, and inside the box he found an early or late 1800s, early 1900s Colt revolver worth a couple of $1,000. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say full of gold bars.
Yeah, that too.
So
that too.
I do like that concept of the storage wars. It's hit and miss, right? Sometimes they lose massive, sometimes they win big. I mean, I saw one with a shipping container that was never claimed. All a bit dodgy, if you ask me. So again,
what did they find in there?
Long container. You can't see what's at the back, but it just looks like a whole bunch of fridges at the front or something.
Mm.
And this guy bought this container for $100,000, I think it was. And everyone's going, "That's a gamble, man." And yes, right at the back, was a little something. It was like a Lamborghini or something, and then there was another one behind it, kind of thing, which you couldn't see. And he was like, because there was a few containers sold, so the people that were bidding, they were still on the dock. So he took this car and he went for a spin around the docks, hooting at them all as he went around.
My sort of
Do we have something like that?
No. My kind of dream would be you've made it in the corporate world or whatever, and you're just tired of it, and you go buy some old farm there, and there's got some flipping shed there, and you open up the shed, and it's got like an old Porsche or a couple of muscle cars parked in there that the oak's forgotten about, covered or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine anything more satisfying than that. Finding something old that's worth money, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But there is limitations. I suppose I'm wondering if it's the different states in America.
Yeah.
Because if you find firearms or any other types of explosives or anything like that in your container, you have to hand it in. You cannot. You relinquish ownership.
Yeah.
What's